Hello everybody, so today we're going to be going through the week 2 update of the Monstera plant and its cuttings. And there's quite a lot of updates actually this week and a lot of changes, and we're going to start with the cuttings in the cup. And you can see that many of the leaves have actually perished now, so 4 of them have completely died. And that's quite alright because there is a lot of new growth and that's quite exciting. So if we take this cutting for example, you can see the new leaf that we saw last week, and he's got more of a stem now, and it's still curled up, but it is getting there. And also with this particular cutting you can see the development of the new roots. So they're coming along very, very nicely. 2 of them are on the new aerial root, that quite long one there, whereas there is one coming out of the stem directly and another smaller one from a much smaller aerial root. It's quite similar to the other cuttings in this pot. As you can see from this one, you can see there that this one also has a new root coming out of an aerial shoot. It's got 2 new ones, from one here and a smaller one just there. And it's also got some new growth coming at the end of the aerial root, which is actually in the air. So the plant is doing quite well, even though it does have these 2 dead leaves. This one is still going strong, so I'm not worried about it. So hopefully they continue to grow and thrive, and before we know it we'll be planting them up. So much like those in the cup, the bigger cuttings here are also beginning to get new roots. These ones are quite tangled, so I will be careful. So you can see here, very much like the ones in the cup, this is also getting new roots on the aerial shoots, and before we realise it there will be completely healthy root systems and we'll be able to plant them. So again, these ones are very much the same, though this one has a lot more growth on the aerial root, so we'll be seeing a lot more of a root system on this one first, most likely. And this is quite a nice collection of leaves as well. This one has perished, but the other 2 are in quite a nice position and they're very upright as well compared to the stem. So when we plant it, it will be quite easy to secure to the support that we add into the pot. So another one is growing just here. So this here is the final cutting out of this vase. Again, it has more shoots coming out of it, and again, like the other ones, it will soon have a root system which we can then plant up. So the ones in here are actually a little bit slower than the other ones. I'm not sure why, but there is some new growth in there. You can see it through the water if it focuses, like that little shoot just there, which it won't focus on. And hopefully it catches up soon, because I don't really want to be planting them at different times, but I'm sure it's just taking its time. It'll get there eventually. And lastly onto the pot that we have. So the shoots that we saw last week are still growing. So there's this one here, and then very close to that one there is another one just at the top of that cutting there. So just here. You see a little bit better now. There's one above it on this little point here, and I believe this might become a little bud, but I'm not sure. Either way. And then there's another one just here. Is there? So overall it's doing quite well. The leaf that we left on it is still perfectly well, and it's stood up quite nicely too, so it's getting stronger. Cutting off the other leaves did do it quite a lot of favours, because as you can see it is very strong on its own, and hopefully once this is potted up into a new pot that is less root bound, then this will thrive a little bit more. But until then, the cuttings are all doing very well, and I'll see you again next week for update number 3.